Hey Ian,
Hey, Ayadeli.
thanks so much for taking some time to look at this data with me.
No problem. I'm happy to help. What's up?
I'm using the energy generation dashboard you helped me set up an observable, and I noticed this strange spike recently. I'm hoping to find out what's behind it.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely strange. If I remember correctly, the data in this chart sums up hourly electricity generation in Texas from several types of fuel.
Yeah, that's right. The data's right here. I see the fuels variable under this chart. Hmm.
Let's take a closer look at what the data is. It might be easier to read as a table. You can quickly add one using the snippets feature.
That sounds good. The snippets are in this menu, right? Okay, yeah, so I see table, and I just click on this.
Exactly. Now, you see the code was inserted in the notebook, so if you change your data to fuels, then we'll get our table. You can see that there's a type of fuel, a date column, which has an entry for each hour, as well as a value, which is the megawatt hours generated for that fuel type. When I made the original chart, I was summing up the values for each hour, but ignoring the individual fuel types.
Gotcha. So we could visualize each of the fuels instead, right?
I think so. And if you check out the snippets menu again, you can see that there are a number of visualizations available. I actually used the line chart snippet when I made that first chart.
Cool. So I'll try that. So I'll put the date for the x-axis and value for the y-axis. Okay, weird. Why is this just a black area?
Well, that's because in our fuels data set, we have multiple series, one for each fuel type. So if you add stroke type to the configuration, we can tell plot to separate the series into multiple lines.
Okay, so there's definitely a lot more going on here than I thought. I can see that there's a lot of variation in what looks like this 2 week period, but it's kind of tangled. Do you think that we can make it easier to see?
Well, one thing I would try is to change it to an area chart. Why don't you duplicate this cell?
With this button in in the toolbar, right?
Yeah, and I'll edit it to be an area chart and use a fill instead of a stroke. Because the series are all based on the same dates, observable plot should stack the areas for us.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So there's definitely something big going on with one of the series. I wonder if that's what caused our spike. It's still a bit hard to make out individual patterns, though. Is there some way to break out each series into its own graph?
Oh yeah, in plot that's called faceting. It's actually a really powerful technique and pretty easy to use too. There's a snippet for it, but it's only a couple extra lines to add to our chart.
Okay, so if I duplicate this, could you help me set up the facet?
Yeah, sure thing. So to facet in plot, we add the facet option, tell it which data to use, and then which direction we want to break out in. Let's use Y so that we can compare each series easier from top to bottom.
Okay, all right. This is interesting. I see that there's this little dip in nuclear, and that's kind of strange since nuclear power is supposed to stay constant. And look at how consistently wind dips during this 2 week period, while natural gas is actually spiking.
This is interesting. It also looks like a few of these fuels don't really contribute much at all. We could hide them by specifying the domain of the facet to only include the series we're interested in.
Why don't I make one more duplicate and you could show me how to set up the domain there?
Yeah, sure thing. I'll just add this FY axis and the domain. Yeah, there you go.
That sounds great. So let's see. I'll start with coal because there's a strange plateau that we want to look into, and then nuclear because of that dip. And I certainly want wind because of the sustained dip. And finally, natural gas because of this huge spike. Awesome. This is really helpful.
Yeah, and if you click the three dots on the left of the visualization, you can choose a high quality format to download your chart and share it.
Oh, that's perfect. I'll download this chart and send it along to our executives. I know they'll be interested in seeing this. This is so great, Ian. Thank you so much for helping me get here.
Yeah, anytime. I'll see you later.